Hello! Today is October 2nd, 2020, where it's almost spooky time, and we're here today with security and nonsense. Are you guys ready for Halloween?
Halloween's not that big of an event for me, so yeah, I'm always ready for it.
Just whenever. Some of my neighbors have started putting up decorations, which is nice when I take a walk at night.
Anything to keep the darkness away.
Yeah,
But that is
pretty
the
much.
darkness. It's celebrating the darkness. It's a time when we can, get away from the harsh reality of the world and just pretend that zombies are killing us.
If only it was just zombies.
What are you going as this year? It's like, I don't know. I was thinking about Epstein.
Well, I'll tell you somebody who is living in a nightmare, and that is whoever set up this Elasticsearch for Microsoft. Oh boy, are they
Oops.
sad.
Microsoft secures a backend server that leaked Bing data. No personal user data was leaked in the incident, and yet you could probably put something together here. How much data was leaked? 6.5 terabytes. Microsoft calls that a small amount
Yeah,
of
they
information.
refer to it as a small leak. This was Bing search results, but not just, the search string and the results, but also all the metadata from the user.
Yeah.
So the researcher was able to determine that this was real and live by making a couple of mobile Bing searches for something they knew nobody else would be searching for, and then searching the Elasticsearch. I found it
There it was.
immediately.
But again, it was no personal user data. So, except for, whatever really strange thing, like that's going to be an academic database. They're going to be talking about you 100 years. It's like, this messed up guy was was binging.
Binging. It's not a verb. It's not a verb. No one says binging.
So, what will you call it, Krista?
Using a search engine that's not Google.
People always talk about how much energy is wasted mining Bitcoin, but just as much energy is wasted on things like we need to come up with a search engine name that's like catchy, like Google, Bing. How much energy was wasted on coming up with that?
Well, like last episode, that one app was called Civil,
Yeah.
Civil, and it really is just like, okay, double a letter and remove a vowel. It worked for Tinder.
And good luck trying to get a domain.
Well, that's
That,
why
like,
they do that.
And, well, yes, they can get the domain, but then when you're telling people about it, oh, just contact Civil, and it's like, how do you spell that? And it's like, oh, it's not the way it's actually.
Civil.
Civil, yeah.
Last week we talked about the zero logon patch, and that was this crazy patch or exploit, and that's this crazy exploit where you just, like the username and password, like what if I don't know those? Just put zeros in. It works. And it doesn't work anymore if you patched. But what if you didn't patch?
The feds issue an emergency order for agencies to patch a critical Windows flaw. Agencies that didn't update must disconnect all domain controllers from networks because it's that bad. This was the man-in-the-middle thing that we reported like a week or two ago. And, you know how things are in the government and everything's really... imagine the DMV. Now imagine the hoops that IT has to jump through. Those servers ain't patched. It is a field day if you're a Chinese espionage agent.
You know who else is having a field day?
Or Russia.
Call of Duty hackers. Oh man, think about it. You spent hundreds of dollars on all those cosmetic unlocks. Your character, you got that sweet marijuana leaf icon in your name, and you got all the coolest backpacks and tiger stripes for your guns, and someone takes it.
Call of Duty accounts hacked. Activision denies any compromise. Like, oh, this is credential stuffing. Those people probably use the same password here as somewhere else. Maybe, but X kind of doubt. I forgot that we have COD blops.
It wasn't as good after the demo. Remember, the demo was good. Some people said they changed the tick time.
I felt like we just, everyone else who played the demo was just as bad as we were. And
Probably.
then when we got into the actual game, it was like, oh, these people are all tryhards, and
It
we're
is-
not going to finish them.
It takes all the fun out of it when you can't get at least one kill per session. When you're that bad,
Yeah.
it really does. It dampens it.
Maybe the game should load in some bots that are fake real players just to make it's like you're playing on a ridiculously low level. We're just going to quietly sandbox you somewhere that you can kill spots.
Well, Tarkov did that, and the bot still killed us. You need some kind of matchmaking. You got to have some kind of matchmaking. Chris, I love this illustration.
This looks like this was maybe done traditionally, which is surprising. Or, actually painted.
Yeah, that might be a famous painting. Anyway, it represents the wolf here. We're not showing it to you yet, but the wolf here represents the evil of the dark web.
Ooh. Dark web drugs raid leads to 179 arrests.
Simultaneously, everywhere.
It's Little Red Riding Hood, and she's just trying to buy some methamphetamine.
179 arrests and $6.5 million in cash and virtual currencies, as well as drugs and guns.
So this was Wall Street, which was the latest one after Alpha something, which replaced something else, which replaced, what was the original one?
Silk Road?
Silk Road, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the question is, what will be next? Because there's going to be another one that pops up. It's almost like you can't stop drugs. Huh. Weird. If you want to escape the scrutiny of the IRS and the FBI, forget cryptocurrency. The people dealing in Monero on those dark web accounts, it didn't save them. That's not the way to go. If you want to be a real hardcore, like below the table trader, it's got to be RuneScape currency.
Man paid hacker RuneScape in-game currency to access email accounts related to ex-girlfriend and gets probation. Of course, this was Singapore.
This is a crazy story. So this chick, she had let this guy have her email password. I guess that was like a trust issue. Krista, do you share passwords?
Yeah.
So.
Not all of them, but.
Oh, which ones did you keep in secret?
Just like email ones, because we don't really need to be in each other's email, but.
Well, maybe you should, Krista. Anyway, this guy had access, and the girl broke up with him, and he knew that she didn't know enough to change the access and change the password and get him out of it. And he knew who did. It was her friend, when he knew who this guy was. And this sent him into a jealous rage where he wanted to hack this other guy, but he didn't have those skills. But he knew a man who did. It was Jake from RuneScape. So he paid, it was a big number. I don't know what that converts to in the Singapore local currency. But he gave him a bunch of RuneScape money. Jake was happy to help. Apparently a skilled hacker as well. Got right in there. And this guy got busted for it. And they kind of slapped him on the wrist. But it didn't stop him. He struck again, once again out of jealous rage. Hacked another guy to get another account. Threatened them online, saying that he was going to destroy their financial accounts and stuff like that. So now he's back in front. He got a year probation.
Here's the thing. Why not just break up with your girlfriend?
She broke up with him. He just couldn't let go.
Oh. And they only gave him...
Yeah. 60 million RuneScape coins. Engagement challenge. What is 60 million RuneScape coins in the local Singapore currency right now?
I'm more concerned by the fact that like he keeps doing this and like that girl's gonna end up dead.
How long can you rent a 2-bedroom apartment for in that currency? Like is like a couple of months or like a year?
He could have been jailed for 2 years and fined up to $5,000. Wait, no, $5,000, which means Singapore dollars. Again, don't know the conversion rate there. But I agree, Krista. This does not seem like a man who is going to be just like, oh, okay, I'm done.
I'll do my time.
I lost her.
Yeah.
Should have sent her flowers. How's that song go?
He should just move on with his life. Like,
I don't know if he has much of one. The old technology. Sometimes it's exciting to collect, but if you keep using it, it can have unintended consequences.
This is like that episode of Star Trek where they couldn't figure out what was wrong with the gravity generators.
Exactly like that.
Internet. Old TV caused village broadband outages for 18 months. So this town had about 400 residents, and they could not figure out why the internet would crap out every morning for the entire town at precisely 7 a.m.
What program do you think was coming on at 7 a.m.?
Faulty Towers.
They actually ran new cable for the entire town, trying to figure out where the problem was.
It turns out it was radio frequency interference from a fabulously old television.
They did not name the person because apparently there was a lot of ill will in this town about Can you imagine every day at 7 a.m. your internet goes out? And how long do they leave the TV on, do you think?
Well, see, we do have that kind of problem around here with our aging copper infrastructure because, like us, they don't have fiber here, apparently. If this had been a fiber optic broadband, it would not have been a problem. But
my internet goes out every night.
Yeah. So,
And
I mean...
it's often it will desync the router and the modem. And so when I wake up in the morning and I grab the tablet and I want to say, oh, what's going on? Oh, I have to go down and reset the...
Yeah, that's because copper, not fiber, because any little thing... I mean, the mad scientist next door could be just doing some very modest experiments, and the radio frequency interference from that will take out broadband to the entire node.
What about skunks and moles? That's what I have next door.
I would say, Wendell, you are the mad scientist that everyone else lives next to.
Turkey. Now, we talked about the Thai king and his intolerance for any insolence among his people. The leader of Turkey kind of on the same vibe. And he's not a king, but he does not tolerate any talking out the side of your mouth. And especially when it comes to the fairer sex.
Turkey sentences female politician to prison for calling Erdogan, whatever, the enemy of women. I don't think he's ever heard of the Streisand effect.
She was a real thorn in his paw because she is a, co-chairwoman of the People's Democratic Congress. Obviously not someone who believes in his kind of rule. Probably talked a lot of other crap that he didn't like, but he used this particular thing to lock her up. And that is a member of the United Nations, folks. That's a big U.S. ally. Yeah.
Huh.
And this reality.
Listen, we need that air base. Incirlik, I think is the name of it. We got to have it.
I really did not pick nuclear war with Turkey for the 2020 capstone event.
No, it's the Civil War and then the Carrington event. That's my bet. That's what I'm putting on my bingo card for the last 2 months.
Civil War is next month.
I
Is that
don't
what
think
you're
it'll be
guessing?
October. It'll be November.
Oh, right. Well, but this is October, Krista.
Yeah, technically it's October. Sorry.
If you are on subways right about now, it's probably a terrifying place to be because, you're trapped in a small tube with other people breathing their air. And that could be dangerous right now. But there is one thing to be happy about if you're traveling on the MTA.
MTA board officially bans pooping on subways and buses. I feel like while they were at it, they should have gone ahead and banned cooking with an open flame, eating children, and perhaps also salsa lessons.
Well, they did have laws in effect, but the language only had to do with spitting and urinating. I suppose they thought that people would infer, but no, we need to clarify defecation.
I imagine there's someone he's pulling up his pants and like a conductor runs over. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "That sign don't say nothing about pooping."
MTA, is that? I don't even know where this is.
Pretty sure stories like this indicate that the Great Filter is in fact in front of us.
What is FR24? Because I'm thinking this is an individual city. This is mass transit, but that's not the whole country, is it? Metropolitan Transportation Authority. That's what that is. I don't know where FR24 is.
The picture says New York City subway.
Oh, excellent investigative work, Krista.
That's why I always look at the stock photo.
Now, Krista, here's one for you. You have a lovely dog. Is she in the room with you today?
No, she's not. She's downstairs sleeping.
She seems to sleep a lot during news time.
She does sleep. She sleeps a lot until it's time to go on a walk at the end of the day.
Now, I will go ahead and chime in, and I'll say, you're going to give me a break from those two little monsters for an entire month? If you're going to guarantee their safe return, you got them. Enjoy them for a month. But, Krista, we'll let you read the headline first, and then you can weigh in on your amount of time.
Survey, 40% would give up their dog for a month to keep their smartphone. I would not do this.
Well, how long would you give her up for?
I probably wouldn't give her up at all.
Not even for a couple hours?
No. I mean, like, when we went on vacation, we'll board her. Like, if we can't take her with us, but most of the time we just take her with us if we're going camping or something.
I got to say, during the lockdown, I don't really use my phone very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only use my phone to be reminded that I probably should be keeping an eye on my email, because it's like, yeah, I'm in the zone, I'm working, and then it's like the blink, blink, blink gets to me, and it's like, oh no, 8 hours have passed. I didn't realize.
But that's just because I don't need little screen, because I got big screen at all times. Yeah,
Are you near a computer? Almost always.
yeah. A lot of people, we like to make fun of the furries here on this channel, and they're an easy target, let's face it. But a lot of people say you shouldn't do that because the furries are innocent. They're just enjoying this, weird lifestyle thing. Who are you to say that they're doing anything wrong? And I say, look at stories like this.
Suspect in chipmunk outfit robs pharmacy in Ville Platte. I don't know if that's how you say that.
I think we're nonsense, right? This is a nonsense story.
You didn't think that the dog smartphone story wasn't nonsense?
Listen, Alvin has fallen on hard times since Dave died.
There's no pictures, which is disappointing.
Theodore's
surveillance video.
Theodore's been withdrawing for 2 days. He's going to die. He needs Percocet. Unfortunately, they don't have any video or images here. I was very disappointed about that. 7K PLC. But yeah, this guy waited for the back door to open, brought that employee in at gunpoint, and proceeded to rob all the pills and store them in his cheeks.
And then they all dissolve, and then he
He was just a block away, frothing at the mouth.
That's what happened to Theodore. Little does he know.
Krista, you told us a couple of weeks ago about the naming convention of the storms. There have been so many. We're now in the Greek alphabet.
Yes.
I thought of a solution to that. Celebrities.
No, apparently they wanted to do politicians, but that didn't happen. So they run out of names.
But how do you know the difference between a celebrity name and just the random names that they choose?
Hurricane DeVito will not...
Yeah, you still wouldn't know that. You'd have to use the full name, and then they'd sue you. Anyway, sometimes you don't have to choose a new name, because this one would have been Gamma if not for the fact that it had already lived once.
Zombie tropical storm Paulette returns from the dead because it's 2020.
It made it all the way to the other side of the ocean.
Yeah, I think it went from did it go from the Gulf to the main Atlantic? Like,
it was near Australia, wasn't it?
No, this was. Oh no, it was in the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's making landfall in Africa there.
Yeah,
there you go. That's just stealth mode. I don't think it's ever dead. Oh, here we go. Here's the path.
Yeah.
Yeah, it circled all the way around and then came back. It was like faking them out. And then boom.
It weakened and then re-intensified.
At one point, I think that they're mostly gone now. Like, things have calmed down at least for a week. But at one point, we had like 5 tropical storms and/or hurricanes just circling around in the Gulf and like in the Atlantic in general. And it was like, wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah, because
being a shipping person right now trying to navigate through all that.
They were out there in the ocean and they were like, hey, should we make landfall? And one of them was like, no, they're having the pandemic. We don't want to go there. So they chilled out.
Oh yeah, there's a related article that shows all the hurricanes that were in the Atlantic at the same time. Wild.
Wow. Now this story, don't get excited. Let me start out by saying don't get excited. It's only in Canada, and
there's only 1,000.
Only 1,000 people. You have to sign up now. So if you're Canadian, maybe you still have time
too late
to get in line.
Only our patrons had a chance, or our floatplane subs.
Oh, that's right, because it'll be a week. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're not getting it. I can't imagine what this would taste like.
Ain't no basic batch. Pumpkin spice Kraft dinner is coming. I got the inflections on that wrong. It's Kraft dinner, not Kraft dinner. I didn't know Kraft dinner was a thing.
Well, they say Kraft dinner, but this is just mac and cheese, right?
Well, apparently they can't call it mac and cheese because that's not a dinner, obviously. Have you done no marketing? Kraft dinner is definitely a dinner because it's called a dinner, even though it's just mac and cheese. You don't have to feel guilty about having the mac and cheese because it's literally labeled dinner, whereas Kraft mac and cheese, that's not a dinner.
It's part of a balanced breakfast.
So I was actually in the market for pumpkin spice earlier this week, so I'm planning on making cookies this weekend. And couldn't find any at the grocery store, so we had to look up the individual components. But one of the major ones is cinnamon. I can't imagine cinnamon would be very good on mac and cheese.
Well, that's what this appears to be, is just you get some mac and cheese, which I think you're just going to get like the powdered kind, and you sprinkle some pumpkin spice on top of that and eat it.
Nice.
That ain't right. Maybe Canadians can't taste cinnamon.
That ain't right in the way that the KFC wrap ain't right.
I don't know this one.
It's like the fried chicken wrapped, like they use fried chicken patties as the buns for a burger or something.
Oh, that's not a wrap. That's a sandwich.
Sandwich, whatever.
That ain't right though.
The double down.
Yeah, or the KFC, the bowl where it's like chicken and mashed potatoes and everything is just all mixed together.
Yeah, I don't like the gravy. I'm fine mixing chicken and corn and mashed potatoes. I just keep the gravy out of that equation.
The gravy is a really interesting chemical compound because it's like a super saturation of salt. It's like you get like 4 tablespoons of that gravy and you can somehow extract 3 kilos of salt from that.
Now here's the engagement challenge chat. So I had so many questions after reading this headline. The major one though, and I meant to YouTube it and I forgot because my brain was trying to protect itself. I got to know, engagement challenge. I'm pretty sure that this is the case, but is this just a bunch of morons running around with brooms between their legs?
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I had a friend who played this for a while a couple years ago.
Wow. Okay, you're going to have to tell us more about it, but let's see the headline first.
Columbia Renegades coach begins first ever Quidditch scholarship to help promote diversity. So I never watched any of her games, but I just heard about it through social media. She would talk about going to her games. But it is, you just play Quidditch, but you're on the ground, and you have a broom.
So one hand is always on the broom, right?
Yeah. It's basically soccer. And, I don't think they had a snitch. I don't know all the rules, because, in the Harry Potter universe, you basically just want to capture the snitch. Because that's how you're going to win. You get the most points for that, but...
Is that not... I don't know much about Harry Potter. Is that not a flying thing?
Yeah, they fly throughout the whole thing.
Finally, the Ring doorbell can be the appropriate substitute for the snitch.
So, okay. There's so much signaling going on in this article. We got to break it down. First of all, college level Quidditch is not separated by gender. Men and women play together. And apparently, now this is going to blow your mind, not a lot of people of color seem to care about it. Basically a bunch of white nerds running around. So what's the solution to this? We're going to get a scholarship. Guess how much you get per semester?
$500.
$500. Cover one textbook.
3/4 of a textbook.
I'm here on scholarship. Oh, really?
I was thinking about these people when they become parents. It's like, oh yeah, my dad was a Quidditch player in college. And it's just like, wait, what?
Don't ever talk to me again.
They talk about the Quidditch is mixed gender, which okay, this is going to get a little nerdy, but in the Harry Potter universe, because the broom is doing all of the physical work, that kind of makes sense, right? It's more of a strategy game and how well you can fly. But if you're actually playing it on the ground, in theory, generally speaking, wouldn't men have an advantage because they can run a little bit faster? They have a little more muscle.
Oh my God, the bigotry, Krista.
I think you've been conditioned by the man, Krista.
This is some real nerd pedantry. I'm just curious. That's an engagement challenge.
Is there physical contact in Quidditch?
Yes, there are. Well, let me see if I can remember. Let me drag up this lore from my brain. There's, I can't remember what it starts. Bludgers, maybe? And they're basically kind of like goalkeepers. I'd have to look up the rules again. It's been a long time. I remember the whole thing with the snitch. The snitch is the thing that you get the most points for. And it's why would you do anything but look for the snitch? There's no reason to do anything else. But
you know where else that applies is MS-13. There's a bunch of nerds out there who are just they're out there on the field and they're power tripping and just smashing the women. But diversity. This story, I meant to cut this because this is just, it's nonsense. Well, I mean, we're already nonsense, but you get really excited when you see the picture, but it's fake.
Yeah. A giant rat found in Mexico City drain. It's not real. It's just crap.
It was a Halloween decoration that got swept up in a flood. But the emergency workers who found it were terrified. Or not emergency workers, but,
city drain sewer workers.
City workers, yeah. Now, Krista, you brought up, and we talked about this in the last episode. I don't know about you, Wendell, but we're just not buying professional clothing. Let's be honest. Here in this office, We don't put a lot of stock into that.
A couple of my shirts have actually started to rot away. Like this one, the button is broken.
Yeah,
like
I got some boxer shorts. I got some just massive holes in them. It's like, oh, I haven't really been buying clothing anymore. But some people do still seem to care about it, and as usual, there's some interesting fashion trends that cost a lot of money, but might leave you scratching your head.
Would you buy $1,400 overalls with fake grass stains? Well, Gucci's selling some. It costs more than the stimulus check. Ain't nobody gonna have that much money.
So there they are. Really nothing impressive about them. The grass stains are not actual grass stains. They are a special kind of dye.
What's frustrating is you can get these overalls probably literally at any Goodwill. Even if you're in a town that has a terrible Goodwill, you could probably get a pair of overalls.
And they probably will be stained.
At any farm supply store.
Well, those would be new, though. Those would be new and very functional.
For what it calls the grunge vibe.
So for $1,400, what you get is this little tag right here, the Gucci tag. Or for probably about $200, you can get a version of those where it's a Chinese woman has very expertly sewn that on to a regular pair of overalls.
No, yeah. See, in next to the computer marketplace in Taiwan, there was just there's a lot of little commercial stalls, and there was a place that had stuff like that. It didn't seem like it was all handmade, but they were doing repairs and stuff like that, and the embroidery and the stitching and the stuff that looked there and the cost was insane. It was like somebody obviously put a lot of work into this, or it was expertly put together. It was really high quality, but it was not crazy expensive.
If you
those people are probably slaves.
If you don't want the overalls, you just want the jeans, good news, it'll only cost you $770.
Oh, perfect.
You can get two. We have a lot of stories about people using their Teslas incorrectly. There was, several of them running into ambulances and police cars, and the guy who died hitting the separator. All sad stories. This one maybe is the most extreme. They definitely figured out some way to bypass those safety systems, because this should not be possible.
Speeding Tesla driver caught napping behind the wheel on an Alberta highway. Driver and passenger were reclining in their seats while the car was on autopilot, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police said. It's like, this is a driver assist technology. It's not meant to do this. But they were on a highway, so it'll auto steer and auto maintain a distance with the car in front of it. And
also, they had the balls to set the autopilot above the speed limit. What's 150 kilometers to miles per hour? It's up there.
It might have just been keep up with traffic mode, so it'll just
because they pointed out the cop got up behind him and lit him up. And he was like, there's nobody in that car. And the car began to accelerate away from him. But it's because all the other people in that far lane got over because they saw the lights. And the car was like, oh, open road.
Thanks, police officer.
Angie Dean, president of the Tesla Owners Club of Alberta.
Oh my God, the Tesla Owners Club of Alberta.
300 paying members of her group.
If you belong to the Tesla Owners Club of Alberta, I'm not allowed to say what I think you should do because someone will sue me after you do it.
I will also point out that Tesla, the data set from her driving is going into the vast Tesla data set that it's using to train future generations of truly autonomous self-driving pilotry, and that is a bad data point.
I'm not sure I think she was just commenting. I don't know if she was the offender.
Or whoever was driving.
She wasn't the offender. No, she was just like, it makes us all look bad.
So the cop wrote him up for speeding and something else, a temporary 24-hour license suspension. But once the court got a look at it, they gave him a criminal offense, reckless driving. Which, I mean, come on. That's just ridiculous. And now we have an animal block. The first one, sadly, a dark day. F's in the chat for one of the first and most lovable of all the memes.
The cat behind the famous Longcat meme has died, aged 18. Longcat long no more.
Oh, here he is.
That's a good run for a cat.
Yeah. I'm sure he was well taken care of. He was long. Look at him. Just keeps on going.
Apparently, is he Japanese?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive because, like, looking at that picture behind him, I would guess that was a trailer in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, but look at the right-hand one.
The wood paneling and
Yeah, the cars.
Listen, Japan's got poor people. So yeah, that's sad. But like you say, 18 years is a really good run for a cat, and I'm sure he was beloved and pampered.
I had this one pegged as probably our last story for the week. So,
well, I had to put it in the animal block. This one, yeah, this is crazy. They didn't point out though. I imagine we could eat these guys, right?
yeah, but there's at one point the quote is like, oh, this wouldn't be a problem if there's only a few thousand of them, but we've got like 1 million of these, and it's going to be at 8 million before.
Yeah, they will double in a very short amount of time because of the amazing genetics that they have gotten from our pigs.
Hog wild, the U.S. has an out-of-control population of super pigs, experts say. So this is apparently domesticated pigs, which are prolific breeders, and they breed all year round. They don't really have a breeding season, and they produce a litter of like 10 piglets. They have bred with European wild boars and produced a viable offspring that have the best of both sets of traits. So we have these super pigs that are like 3 feet tall on up from there, 250 pounds, and they're basically unstoppable.
Yeah. So Texas has you can get a license in Texas to hunt them year round, but you're not allowed to go on other people's properties, and they're apparently pretty mobile. So you ever see the video of Ted Nugent hunting these guys from a helicopter? God, it looks like fun. And because they're such a nuisance, nobody cares. I mean, the animal rights people got after him, but he was like, look, they're destroying our world. We have to kill them. Why shouldn't I take my helicopter and high-powered rifle and kill them?
I don't think these are really in Kentucky yet, because here the only things you can shoot year-round are turkey vulture and coyotes.
I think,
but I guess they'll be here soon.
They're probably not too well suited to the hills.
And maybe
because they eat crops. That's the big problem. So farmland is where they're a big threat. They also carry swine flu. Ouch.
Nobody eat any more bats or these wild hogs.
But I'm thinking like what if that's what saves us after the next event? Like we're all starving, but we got these hogs that you don't even have to breed them.
They like take care of themselves.
They're like the buffalo before we showed up.
Actually, they probably would be good in hilly areas if they otherwise tolerate the climate, because what else are you going to do with a hilly area?
Yeah, just run some hogs on it. Now they've killed a woman. They found her with blunt force trauma to the head and bite wounds. She had bled to death. They weren't sure exactly how she died. Maybe the head wound, maybe bleeding to death, but it was definitely hogs that got her. So if you're in Texas, you better pack some heat.
It's not good.
I think you're required by law to pack heat in Texas.
It's such a beautiful place. All the Californians have moved down there, though. They're going to ruin it. Rats in captivity they become kind of like pets to some of these people. We're having a shortage right now for science rats.
Oh, yeah, because the people that care for them had to euthanize the colonies because they couldn't come in to care for them.
But apparently we have enough to do these kinds of tests, which I don't really understand what we're gaining from this, but it is a nice headline.
Not all rats like to be tickled, scientists discover, and turns out that noise that rats make that's like laughter is in some cases laughter.
Some of them enjoy it very much. Others,
not so much.
Don't care for it.
It's interesting, I guess.
It's interesting, but at a time when maybe you have a lab, could there be anything else that you're researching that might help humanity? I can't think of anything.
Nope, it'll just work itself out.
This is a great video. This monster. You gotta know that the other parents are just like gritting their teeth, but they can't say anything because what are you gonna say? This is just nature running its. This is Genghis Khan. If we were back in those days. I gotta run it back.
Huge 6-year-old dominates opponents in viral football video. Oh, it's
Come
struggling.
On, New York Post.
The kid's name is Aiden, which shouldn't surprise anyone for that generation. He's 130 pounds. He weighs the same as I do.
Yeah,
He's sick.
He's 6 years old.
5'1".
Yeah.
That's crazy. He could probably whip your ass, Kristen.
Oh, he probably could. He's stocky. He's low to the ground.
look how tiny that little guy is. He just like smacks him on the head.
Nice.
They interviewed his dad, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I love it. I'm real proud of him. It's so good for his self-esteem." It's like, I guess it's genetics. He
His
can be
dad
proud
played
of his
football,
genetics. Yeah. You think he'll keep up that, or will he hit a point? It's like, I feel this sometimes. It's like if you were a smart kid, you don't learn the discipline, and then when you hit the wall where you're like your natural abilities won't take you any farther, it's like, oh, this is difficult.
You do that, or you just live with people that'll let you live with them forever.
I was gonna say get depressed, but
How's
I like
that
your
going?
better.
Well,
Still, not any bitterness left, right?
No, it's
Totally flushed out of the system. And finally, I can't believe that you thought that other one, the pig story, would be the last story when you read this one.
This one would have been like, I was cackling up to the point where he was like, and it just shuts off after an hour. And it's like, aw.
The quote from the tweet is great. But first, let's see the headline.
This guy is letting his Twitter followers control his vibrating butt plug.
Now, it's exactly what it sounds like. So he set this up. He had actually. So you're thinking like, where are you going to add electronics to that thing? He has a battery, a AA battery, which he has installed a Wi-Fi module into the battery, so that the battery itself can have like a little computer hooked up to it. And this is something he's working on, part of his marketing, I guess. So to test it, pop that battery into his butt plug, and here's the tweet. The first line of it. This is a sentence that's never been uttered before, I'm sure.
I'm not going to read that because of the algorithm, but yeah. So you could read it there. It's fine. But yeah, you depending on how you respond to the tweet is how the device responds, and that more intense, less intense. But then he's like, you know what? After an hour, it's fine.
Yeah.
I like the other quote later in the article. It's something about my personal butt activities, and it's like that's something
Yeah.
I'm not interested in. But
oh yeah, and this is, of course, we talked about this before. What a great word, teledildonics. I think we were debating last time whether or not we could use that at the title.
We cannot.
How would the algorithm
It would be very
No.
deal
unfavorable.
with teledildonics? They referred to this as the future of masturbation.
No.
What can you say after that?
Not much. I mean,
there's a
it doesn't.
weird world.
It doesn't really get better than that. You know what? I mean, if anything this year has shown us that life is short, whatever. You do you. It's fine.
No, you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
I guess some people could enjoy clicking the tweet button.
Yeah, I mean, some people enjoy clicking the dislike button because I'm playing with a pipe joint that I need to install in the air conditioner, but whatever.
Just a different kind of playing is all it is.
I can't quiet my mind. They've tried.
All right, Chris. I got a couple of scenarios of the kinds of goodbyes, but they all have to do with butt plugs and that. I'm not even going to say
Let's not
it.
go there. Let's not go there, chat. Let's just stay
additional.
inside and pretend that the flaming train wreck isn't just hurtling forward into space.
Hey, it's October. There's some new stuff coming out soon.
When is Cyberpunk?
I don't know.
November.
That was in November. Well, everything will be dead by then, so.
Oh, we forgot to do the 3000 series graphics cards. We skipped it somehow. Oh, well.
No, we did that last week.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Well, the reviews are out now.
Yeah. Not like it matters. No one can get one, so.
True.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Good luck in November.